Welcome back, battlers, to episode 3 of our Cliffhanger Cup battles. This time we're going up against my friend Church. I open with Blastoise, he opens with Frostlass. This is an interesting match because Frostlass does know Avalanche and Shadow Ball. I'm going to get to the Hydro Cannon first here. I'm not too worried about the charge moves because Avalanche won't hurt, but I'm curious to see how much Shadow Ball does. And surprise, it takes a huge amount of health away from our Blastoise. That's okay though, we are able to get to a second move. He makes a fast swap into Victory Bell to try to absorb that Hydro Cannon, but we don't fall for it. I'm going to bring in Deoxys here. I know I only need to land one Psycho Boost, so I am going to throw up the shield here, expecting something like a Leaf Blade, and I'm able to survive long enough to get to the second Psycho Boost here. Because Victory Bell is a part Poison type, that is super effective damage. We're going to drop that Victory Bell and await his Pokemon in the back. Turns out that it's Bastiodon. I'm just going to try and get a little bit of chip damage here with the Psycho Boost, just to put in a little bit of work, but I'm feeling very comfortable. I'm actually going to decide to bring in my Venusaur to try to lure out the Frostlass, and it works perfectly. I dodge that Avalanche by switching into Blastoise, and then I fire off a Hydro Cannon to finish off the Frostlass. My Blastoise goes down, however, I'm not concerned at all. I have one shield, with Venusaur, and the Frenzy Plant damage is going to wreck this Bastiodon if it goes unshielded. Church is out of shield, so this is pretty much a wrap. GG's, my friend. What a great round one. Jumping right into round 2, I open Defense Deoxys, he opens with Victory Bell. Those Razor Leafs are going to hurt, but again, my objective is to get to that Psycho Boost. I get to one here, and he does decide to shield. He's going to fire off a few more Razor Leafs. This, I probably should have expected the Acid Spray, but it was actually Leaf Blade, which it turned out well for me. Good decision to block there. I'm going to fire off the Side Shock here again. He double shields the Victory Bell and is able to take down my Defense Deoxys. I don't have a really good answer to Frostlass, but I know I need to keep my Venusaur in the back. I lure out the Frostlass yet again with the Venusaur and then make a fast swap into Blastoise. He hits us with that Shadow Ball, but I'm not concerned. I'm going to farm up the rest of this Frostlass and then use a Hydro Cannon to take it down. His Victory Bell comes out. I'm able to squeeze in one more Hydro Cannon to get some neutral damage done. Some resisted damage done on this Victory Bell. The Victory Bell is very weak. I know it's either Acid Spray or Leaf Blade, so I'm not going to block with Venusaur. I use one Vine Whip to take down the Victory Bell, and out comes Bastiodon. This is a very familiar matchup. We saw this just a moment ago. The only difference is that I have a lot more energy, and Bastiodon has a lot more health, making this match a lot closer. As you can tell, those smackdowns are really starting to hurt. My goal is to get to 2 more Frenzy Plants to win the match. I'm going to overfarm a little bit, fire off a second Frenzy Plant, and I need a little bit more, and I have just enough. Jumping right into round 3, I decide to open with Golbat. Church opens with Skarmory, so Skarmory is the superior flying type. I'm going to make the fast swap into Blastoise. I'm putting it all on the line for this Ice Beam. Let's see if he blocks it. He does block it. Knowing that Blastoise usually carries Ice Beam, that was a very smart move. I'm going to bring in my Golbat here, use a few wing attacks against the Victory Bell. I know that I'm going to resist pretty much anything this Victory Bell throws at me. This one actually knows Sludge Bomb. Church has this system where he develops several PvP Pokemon and he gives them all different moves. So you don't know what you're going to get when you face off against him. Very, very fierce competitor. I'm going to fire off a Poison Fang against the Bastiodon. I probably could have held that, but that's okay. Make the fast swap into Deoxys. Deoxys is the key here because it does no counter. It does give me the best matchup against the Bastiodon, and being switch locked, I'm in some trouble here. I'm going to fire off the Thunderbolt against the Skarmory. He does not shield. So we're going to land the Thunderbolt. Now we're facing off against Bastiodon. I do use the Psycho Boost here, and he doesn't shield that. He's holding on to that last shield, and I think it'll pay off for him. I do have to burn my second shield here, and then I swap right into Golbat. I'm going to fire off the Poison Fang to try to draw the shield, and we don't get it. So we do some minor chip damage. All I can do here is go for another Poison Fang to try to get a little more damage in. We do take the shield that time, which is a curious thing. I am going to use a few more counters and get to the Psycho Boost. Let's see if it's enough. Oh man, it was so close. He actually fires off the Stone Edge to finish us, and Church takes round 3. Jumping right into round 4, I open Deoxys against Bastiodon. I'm getting a lot of deja vu in this video, but it's a lot of fun regardless. I'm going to use a few counters here, expecting the swap. I have my switch tray open, but he chooses not to swap. He's going to use the Stone Edge here, and I'm going to make the swap into Venusaur. However, he has the perfect counter to the Venusaur, which is the Skarmory. Nothing else walls a Venusaur like the Skarmory. I'm going to do as much damage as I can with these Frenzy Plants while he J-farms me up. Firing off a second one, I'm trying to get to a third here, and we do. So even though Skarmory is an excellent counter, we are going to try to make him pay. That Skarmory is now in the red. I have a couple of choices here, and I decide to come in with Deoxys. I'm going to fire off this charge move here to try to keep him from using a Sky Attack, and then make a fast swap into Blastoise to absorb the Sky Attack damage. It does do about a third of my health, and he does have a Victory Bell, so this is a bad situation for me. He still has 3 Pokemon and a shield. It's not looking very good for me. I'm going to fire off the Psycho Boost here to try to put some shield pressure on the Victory Bell. He does decide to shield it, and I'm going to burn my last shield on this Leaf Blade. He is without shield, so I think I can take down Victory Bell, but my Deoxys is so weak, I don't think I'm going to get much farther than that. In comes Skarmory with a Sky Attack loaded, and Church is going to take round 4. Opening round 5, I go in with Blastoise. He opens with Forretress. This is an interesting matchup because that Forretress is probably carrying Earthquake, and it will hurt the Blastoise. However, these Hydro Cannons are very spammy. I know I need to counter this Forretress in the lead so that I can set up myself well for the rest of the match. In comes Skarmory, and I'm not going to flinch. I'm actually going to fire off the Ice Beam. In hindsight, I probably could have gone for the Hydro Cannon. Guys, I make a silly swap into Golbat. Not sure why I did that. Golbat is just going to do its best here. I'm going to try to go for the Shadow Ball because I know it will wreck this Skarm if it lands. And it does. The Skarm is very, very weak. We are able to get it down before it gets off another charge move. At this point, Church decides to bring in his Fortress again. I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball here. And guys, Golbat is going on a run. That Shadow Ball lands as well, and Fortress falls. The last Pokemon comes out, which is Bastiodon. I have 2 excellent Bastiodon counters, so I am not concerned in the slightest. I'm going to farm up this Bastiodon. I tried to switch to absorb that charge attack, but we don't quite get there. So I'm going to make the swap into Venusaur at this point. He does have a shield, so I need to put some pressure on this Bastiodon with the Frenzy Plants. I miss a bubble there, but, you know. Fire off another few Vine Whips. He gets to do a charge move, and I don't think I'm going to survive this. It is Flamethrower, and it does take down Venusaur. He still has the 1 shield, but guys, we're able to fast move him down for the win. Going into this last match, I open with Blastoise. He opens with Forretress. I'm going to use a few Water Guns here and try to get some damage in. We actually use the Hydro Cannon here to put some shield pressure on the Forretress. He does not shield though. He decides to take that. He's going to fire off a charge move of his own, expecting the Earthquake. I do shield, and it is Earthquake. I'm going to use a few more Water Guns here, and we're able to fast move down the Forretress. Church is thinking it over. He decides to bring in Bastiodon, which tells me that he doesn't really have a strong counter for Blastoise, so I need to ride this Blastoise train all the way to the W. I'm going to fire off another Hydro Cannon here. Blastoise is such a strong pick in the Cliffhanger Cup. I definitely recommend you check it out. We get to another Hydro Cannon, guys. This is bad news bears for Bastiodon. It's going to burn that last shield. In the back, I have Defense Deoxys and Golbat. Bastiodon is so weak that I know I can finish it off with the counters here. I'm going to use a 4 or 5 counters to finish off that Bastiodon. In comes the Frostlass. Frostlass is a ghost type, so it is susceptible to Psyshock. I'm not sure why I went for the Thunderbolt there. That was a mistake on my part. I do decide to bring in Golbat to buy myself a little bit of time. The Avalanche almost one-hit KOs us, guys, and this match is a lot closer than it seemed a moment ago. He actually gets to the last charge move, and guys, this Shadow Ball is going to wreck our Deoxys, and Church wins that game. Church, thank you so much for the matches. Always a great time. If you enjoy this Cliffhanger Cup content, let me know in the comments. More videos to come, and as well, we have the Sinister Cup to look forward to, so stay tuned for that.